The LA Times perfectly summarized the state of MTV in 1988, writing, "No one shows kids a good time like MTV. The 24-hour video channel offers so many crazy DJs, wild contests, and nutty promotions that in MTV land, it seems like spring break every day of the year. What MTV savvy image makers don't say is there's such a thing as having too much fun, especially when that fun comes at the expense of important MTV advertisers." Canadian rocker Neil Young would find out the hard way that the network didn't appreciate their advertisers being made fun of, and that's what we're going to explore in today's video. In 1988, Neil Young would release his 16th studio album, This Note's For You. Part of the album's concept centered around the idea of commercialism and rock and roll, especially when it came to rock and roll tours, something of course he wasn't a fan of. Side note guys, I've done a whole video on the feud that erupted between the Black Crowes, who got fired from opening for ZZ Top in the early 90s after criticizing Miller Beer's corporate sponsorship of that tour. The link is down below. In 1988, Neil Young would release the video for the title track. The song would mention particular companies including Coke, Pepsi, and Budweiser, some of whom happened to advertise on MTV at the time. The video would also take aim at well-known musicians who promoted corporate products, including Whitney Houston, Eric Clapton, and Michael Jackson. There would be a spoof of the Eric Clapton's Michelob ad, and there would also be a spoof of the time that Michael Jackson set his hair on fire during a Pepsi dance routine. The video would also take aim at Bud Light's corporate mascot Spuds MacKenzie. MTV was concerned about how their advertisers would react to the video, at least according to some reports. But MTV was caught in a difficult spot. It was difficult for MTV to justify banning Neil Young's video, since many critics of the network pointed to sexually suggestive videos making it through the channel's standards and practices department. Even the spokesperson for MTV had a hard time defending the network's decision to ban Neil Young's video, telling the LA Times, "I must admit I feel awkward defending our decision because I happen to think it's a fantastic video. Everyone in programming loved it, it's spectacular, it's very funny. But we had two corporate problems. First, our attorneys advised us against playing it because its use of likeness of Michael Jackson and Spuds MacKenzie could leave us open to trademark infringement charges. Even after that statement was put out, Neil Young's label Warner Records even offered to indemnify any claims against the network, but MTV still said no." The spokesperson for MTV would go on to say, "I agree that it's a spoof, which is what I argued with our Standards execs, but I lost the argument. Standards feels that if we appeared inconsistent, other record companies would want exceptions down the road," he'd say. Neil Young's manager, Elliot Roberts, would tell the LA Times, "I think the whole thing is a disgrace. It tells me that the M in MTV stands for money, not music. The shame of it all is that Neil had written a song about how advertisers are taking control of the music. Now MTV has proven that corporate control of rock has gone further than you could possibly imagine." Neil Young's camp and his label even offered to change the video to remove any impersonators in it, but MTV still said no. The LA Times would report, and I quote, "It has been a long-standing MTV policy that the channel refuses to air clips that depict or contain lyrics that refer to specific commercial products. The intent of the edict is to protect MTV from the glut of tacky product placements that clog so many Hollywood films." It would appear that MTV changed their reasoning for banning the music video, and the war of words between Neil Young's camp and MTV also appears to have come from poor communication. His manager would claim to the LA Times that he sent the song as well as the lyrics and the video script to the network ahead of time and claimed that it was approved. While MTV's general manager approved it in principle, he failed to talk to the network standards department. The irony of this whole thing is that despite MTV's ban, Canadian music channel Much Music ran the video and it proved to be a hit up north. MTV would soon change their minds and the video got heavy airplay on the network. The icing on the cake was that the video would win the MTV Video Music Award for Video of the Year in 1989. It also went on to be nominated for a Grammy the same year for Best Concept Video, but lost a Weird Al spoof of the Michael Jackson song Bad. 2 years later, Young would speak to the LA Times to talk about the video, saying, "I can see now why they wouldn't play it. The video was making fun of a lot of things that MTV does. Sponsorship, using music to sell products, but I thought the video was going to be funny, that everyone would love it. When MTV didn't play it, I thought, how could I be so wrong? I was confused. Here I was this guy from the 60s and the 90s and wondering how I fit in. I was a lost duck," he'd say. Young would also admit that his original idea for the video was to have the band playing the song in a room with money falling from the ceiling until there was so much money in the room that you couldn't see the band anymore. But famed director Julian Temple, who worked on the video, came up with the concept of spoofing other artists, which Young loved. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. We'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.